Hello and welcome to another episode of Keep It Movin', the show right here on the Monk Max channel where I, your host Monk, aka the Monk Petition, give you 3 fighters you must fade for UFC Vegas 55 happening this Saturday, May 21st in Las Vegas at the UFC Apex Center. Real quick, guys, before we get into it, please like the video, subscribe to the Monkmatics channel. We're on the road to 300. Really appreciate it. You guys are putting in work on the channel. I absolutely love it. And be sure to check out at MMA_engine on Twitter and MMA Engine on YouTube, guys. It's me, Wheezy, Brady, and Lou Betya, bringing you several times a day content for for every UFC event happening every single week. You know, sometimes 2-3 times a day, every single day, getting you everything you need to make those wagers, to make those lineups, and to straight up pick fights before every UFC event. So be sure to like and subscribe to that channel over there as well. That's going to do it for business, guys. This week was very tough to come up with 3 fades for you. High variance fights all the way around. I'm going to try to not look so foolish this week. Last week was a bit rough, especially for the must plays. Had Nick Maximov in there, I think. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, here are my 3 big fades for UFC Vegas 55. First one, $8,500 for Elise Reed? Question mark? Deficient DraftKings numbers, as you can see her floating head and shoulders over here. This is the best I could do for a PNG for Elise Reed. UFC, make that happen. Get her a better picture up there. Gosh dang it. Deficient DraftKings numbers for Elise Reed. Scores only 2.29 raw DraftKings points per minute. Scored only 70 points in her one UFC win and has an average value of just 5.11. Very low numbers there. Subpar grappling stats as well for Elise Reed. 55.56 takedown defense. That is far less than optimal. No takedowns attempted from Reed's side of things. She gets out-controlled 39.59% to 1.95%. I mean, that's almost unbelievable. And out of all the grappling time that she has had in her fights, she's only controlled 4.69%. 4.69% of the total grappling time for Elise Reed. These are something you have to consider when she's facing Sam Hughes. Even a subpar grappler, I mean, could easily get some control time over Elise Reed here if she can get to the inside, work it to the ground. Reed also has poor DraftKings defense, allowing 4.09 raw DraftKings points per minute. She also, out of that 4.09, 1.77 of it is takedowns and control time allowed. So that is an absolutely huge number. It, calls back to the subpar grappling stats that I mentioned earlier. 1.77 grappling points a minute is a ton to allow. And in DraftKings, that's a ton of points to give up per minute. And you also, or not you, obviously, maybe you, I don't know what your stats are, but Elise Reed did allow 53.58 DraftKings points in her one win. Yeah, I just think Sam Hughes, I mean, I don't like anything about this fight. I don't think either fighter is probably going to finish. I think it most likely goes to decision. If Elise Reed wins, I mean, what are we going to expect? 60, 70 points, maybe. I'll be on the Sam Hughes side of things. I like the $7,700 price tag much more than I do $8,500. I just think that's a bit high for Elise Reed. Maybe she will come out here and prove me wrong, but I feel generally safe in saying this one goes to decision and is a low scoring affair, especially if Sam Hughes, all she has to do is take her down or clinch work with her. Elise Reed has shown, no resistance to that path at all. So I'm going to be fading Elise Reed this week. Second play of the week, or second fade, I should say, for UFC Vegas 55. It's going to be the $8,900 Jonathan Martinez. I just think that price tag is way too high for Mr. Martinez. So far into his UFC career, he has very underwhelming DraftKings stats, scoring only 2.71 raw DraftKings points per minute, averaging only 73.99 points when he wins. That is over 6 UFC wins, guys. So a pretty low number there, and only one of those 6 UFC wins did he even put up over 90 points. That's it, just one of 6. Those numbers are, like it says, very underwhelming, and you have to play the probabilities on this one. Decision heavy fighter is Jonathan Martinez. 6 of 9 UFC fights ended by way of decision, averaging only 65 points when he does get a decision win. So that's 8 points less than his average. and he does average only 35 bonus points per win. So like it says, decision heavy fighter, does not find a finish very much at all. Opponent this week, I believe Vince Morales, has decent DraftKings defense. Morales allows just 2.53 raw DraftKings points per minute, gives up only 81 when he loses, and when his fights go to decision and he loses, he gives up only 64.73, which is how I see Martinez winning here. I think this one goes to decision more often than it doesn't. Let's see. Computer Monk agrees with me, thinking that it goes to decision 61% of the time. So I do think, I mean, like I said, this is such a high variance card, guys. Anything could happen, but I feel a bit comfortable fading Jonathan Martinez in bigger tournaments. I like him for a cash play a lot. This is not about that. Put him in cash lineups. I don't mind that at all. Could be a super easy, 60, 70, 80 points there, depending on how the fight goes, if he can get this win. But as far as GPPs go, I'd rather pay up $100 for Jin Park. I'd rather some lineups even pay down for Joseph Holmes over Alan Amadovsky. Then, down 200, you're at Cheaty. So what are we doing here for GPPs? Probably fading Jonathan Martinez. Next fade and third fade of the video I will give you, UFC Vegas 55. Once again, please like, subscribe to the channel. Absolutely love what you guys are doing. Appreciate you joining me. I'm going to give you half of the main event, $7,100 Ketlen Vieira this week. It is a 5-round fight, so automatically, you get 2 extra rounds if it goes to decision to score points. However, from the Ketlen Vieira side, she does have a bit of subpar offensive DraftKings statistics, scoring only 2.78 raw DraftKings points per minute, averaging only 81.7 when she wins, and she has yet to score 90 or more DraftKings points in any of her 6 wins. So never scored 90 points. That is a big red flag for me. Decision heavy fighter is Ketlen Vieira. 6 of 8 UFC fights are decisions. 5 of 6 of her UFC wins are decision wins, averaging just 78.28 DraftKings points per decision win. This is 3.5 points less than her average, averaging only 36.67 bonus points per win. So again, lots of fights going to decision for Ketlen Vieira, and she also has suboptimal striking stats, guys. Lands only 3.07 significant strikes per minute at just a 38.46% accuracy. Those are very low numbers. Doesn't matter what division you're in. She also gets outstruck by 1 significant strike per minute. She has a 1 differential, 1.00 even strike differential, or -1, I should say. And her opponents average 2.8 significant strikes landed against per minute at a 57.93% defense. So very good defensive stats is what we can usually see at the end of fights from her opponents. That could have a lot to do with her 38% striking accuracy. So I know this one is 5 rounds, but I just don't see how she gets this done. I also know Holly Holm is 40 years old, but her footwork, she is an absolute specialist on the feet. I think she's still going to be pretty quick. I think she can outmaneuver Vieira and land her shots when she needs to, drag this into 4 or 5 rounds. I think this is going to be a pretty, not easy, but I think Holly Holm wins by decision more times than any other outcome in this fight. So I'm going to be fading Ketlen Vieira this week at 7,100. I might play her a little bit because who knows what could happen. Again, high variance card. Holly Holm is 40 years old. What if she gets caught? We've seen it before. So not fading her to 0, but I will probably be under the field on this one. So guys, that's going to do it. Let's recap the fades. First fade, $8,500 Elise Reed. Second fade, the more expensive Jonathan Martinez toward, 4th highest salaried guy on the card. I'm giving you the fade on that one because I think it goes to decision and he does not score well. Fade number 3, half of the main event, Ketlen Vieira. I like the home side just that much more. I think she wins by decision, like I said. I don't think Vieira scores very well. You can still play her in cash. She might end up with 40, 50 points in a loss, which wouldn't be bad. And at 7,100, that's a pretty good value for cash games for a punt play. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. That is going to do it. That's all I got for you. I want all of you to enjoy the fights. So enjoy. And we will see you next time. Have a good one.